Hi, my name is Sarah. I am an English teacher and language anxiety coach. And in this book, I'm going to be talking about routines and why routines are so important for you as a language learner, and then how you can create some successful routines for your language learning. Now, a little bit about me to begin with. I I was not always a very routine person. In fact, I would say that probably for almost all of my life up till now, to a very large extent, I haven't really been very good with routine. Um, you know, I've always wanted to do things because I felt like it or because it seemed like the right time, and you know, that's always been my kind of way of thinking to a certain extent. And then a few months ago, I read a book called Routine Machine by a guy called John Lamerton. And it was all about the importance of routines. And he makes, this is not a book review, I'm not going to go into the book, but he makes a very convincing argument for following routines. And after reading his book, I started making my life much more routine. Now, I am more productive, so I get more work done. I get more work done happily as a result of reading this book. But what's more interesting to me is that I am now doing more stuff that I want to do for me than I was doing when I was just, oh, I'll do things when I'm in the mood for it. And a really good example is there's a specific meditation that I like to do. And I don't need to do it every day, but I really like to do it once a week. Now, I am not exaggerating. I am not exaggerating when I say that for years, I was angry with myself because I wasn't managing to do this meditation once a week. I would get into bed and be like, forgot, didn't do it again. Tomorrow, have I got time? I don't know. No. And basically this meditation almost never happened for me. And now, because I've got a routine, this weekly meditation has a special place in my calendar. And I do it every week. And that has happened because I've got a routine. So if you're one of these, very creative people who likes, to be free and to be a free spirit and to live in the moment, awesome. But I would guess that having some kind of routine will actually help you get the stuff done that matters to you. This is not just about being productive at work. This is not just about being productive as an English learner. This is about you and your life and what matters to you. So whatever it is that you feel you're not doing enough of, or you want to do more of, you need to put it into some kind of routine so there's a structure. So I'm going to share with you now, how many tips? Five tips. 5 tips on how you can create a good routine for your language learning. But these tips are also, you can use them outside of language learning too. So the first tip is to start small. We have an idiom in English. We say Rome wasn't built in one day. And this means that, if you want to do something big, you need to start with something small, because you can't do something big at the very beginning. You have to begin at the beginning. And I think oftentimes we have a new idea and we're like, yeah, I'm gonna read a book in English in a month and it's going to be great and I'm going to do it. And then we don't do it because we don't know when to do it and it's kind of difficult. And then we don't do it. And then we feel really bad for not doing it. And then we just stop because we can't do it. So it's awesome that you want to read a book in a month. But I would probably suggest that you start with something smaller than a whole book. I might suggest that you do something like, okay, my routine is going to be to read 3 pages from my book every day. That's my routine. And there is a very big difference between trying to think of a whole book and just thinking of 3 pages. Okay, so start small and start achievable. And when you've got into the habit and you think, actually, okay, 3 pages, it's kind of easy for me. Well, fine, then do 5. But start small and build up from there. Okay, you wouldn't go to the gym and try and lift big weights on the first day. You would start with small weights and increase slowly. Okay, second thing to do is the same thing at the same time on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. I know, how boring can my life be? I've got to do the same thing at the same time every Tuesday. Oh, God. I have tasks now that I do at the same thing at the same time on a weekly basis. So I always sit down and do some work on money on a Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. And I have things that I do on a monthly basis. So on the third Friday of every month, I make these videos. And I sit here, and this is when I make my videos, because that's my routine. And that means the videos always get made because it's in my calendar. So for you as a learner, if you, I don't know, if you're trying to work for an exam, and you know you need to practice writing an essay, but you hate writing, and particularly you hate writing essays, you need to make it a routine. So I don't know, Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock, I'm going to sit down, maybe with a glass of wine, maybe with some chocolate, and I'm going to write an essay. And I'm going to do that every Tuesday between now and my exam. And when you do that, you kind of, you just do stuff because it's your routine, it's in your diary, it's in your head that that is the essay writing time of the week. And it becomes so much more easy when you've got a routine. Okay, it's the same as brushing your teeth or washing your hair. We do that stuff on a routine basis every morning, every night. It's the same. You need to make your language learning as routine as brushing your teeth or brushing your hair. With that being said, however, point number 3, it can be quite challenging to remember to do stuff. So when we've got a new thing we want to do, like, oh, I'm going to read 3 pages a day, actually, it can be very hard to remember that at first. And we might get to bed and be like, oh, I forgot to read. Damn it. So a really good strategy for doing this is when you've got a new routine that you want to start to implement, you need to attach it to an old routine. Okay. Because the old routine is already there, it's already in your brain, and you just do it without thinking. So you need to take this new routine and connect it to the old one, because you're going to remember the old one, and that will help you remember the new one too. So as an example of this, and this is true, I think I've talked about this before, I was trying to get my nephew to read a book, and obviously my nephew is a 13-year-old kid. He's probably wants to play Fortnite on his Xbox or something, and it was very hard for him to remember to read this book because he's got the computer, and that's way more exciting than a book. And what we had to do was decide a specific time every day that he was going to read. Once we had the time, like 4 o'clock when you get home, that became a routine, because he gets home, he has a chill out session, and he does his reading then. Now, another important thing about remembering is that we are, most of us are very, very visual. So we need to see stuff to remember it. So if you've got a book that you want to read 3 pages a day, decide which old routine you're going to attach it to. That could be having my breakfast, having my lunch, going to bed, and put the book somewhere you will see it when you do your old routine. So if you decide you're going to read your 3 pages every day at lunchtime, you need that book to be at the place where you eat your lunch, so you will see it and think, oh yeah, I've got to read my book now. Okay, so attach the new thing to the old thing and make a visual clue for yourself. All right, tip number 4. Now, this is to use a calendar or diary for all of your routines. Now, I had come across this tip many, many times before. Oh, put things in your diary and then you'll be accountable to yourself, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't do it because I thought, I don't need to do that. And then I started doing it and I realized, actually, this is really good. So I'm just going to pause this and share my screen with you for a second. So this is my Google Calendar. And I'm showing you this because this is now how I organize myself. I now have everything in here. I have my lunch in here. I have my dog walk in here. I put my meditation in here. I even put time to spend with my boyfriend in here because otherwise I get distracted and I don't do it, or not as much as we would like. So I now literally organize the whole of my week in advance, including, stuff like work and students, but also the things that are for me. And because I've done that, I tend to do everything. And the other advantage is because I have really, really considered very carefully how much time I've got available, I'm actually feeling much less stressed and anxious about trying to get stuff done. Now, you don't have to use Google Calendar. That's not the point. You might like to use a book calendar. You might have an app. You might have a wall calendar, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's all about you and what works for you, and just putting those things down somewhere to make yourself remember and make yourself do them. And then this is the final point. And again, it kind of connects to what I've just said. This routine, it's your routine. It's not mine. It's not your teachers. It's not your mum's. It's not your coaches. It's not your bosses. It's yours. And this is important because sometimes people, they're doing good. They want to help us, but they'll say things like, oh, well, you really should practice grammar for 2 hours every day. Or you really should spend half an hour a day doing exercise in the morning. You really should get up at 5:30 to meditate every day. Now, this person maybe really means very well for you. They might have good intentions for you, but they don't know your life. I don't know your life. I can't tell you what you should do and when you should do it. The only person who can make your routine work for you is you. So I don't want you to copy me. I don't want you to do what I do. I think you need to go away and consider routine, how a routine might benefit your life or your English lessons or doing a meditation once a week, whatever. And think about the best way for you to integrate that into your life. If you go to the gym every day, maybe that's a perfect time for you to listen to a podcast. If you like to go for a run, maybe that's a great time for you to listen to a podcast. Maybe you hate podcasts and you don't want to listen to them at all. I don't like them very much. I don't listen to them. That's okay. But really, it's all about knowing what works for you, where your time is, and how you want to fill in that time so it's beneficial to you. If you have any questions about routines or making a routine or why you should make a routine, I'm always happy to answer your questions. So please leave a comment below. My name is Sarah. I'm an English teacher and language anxiety coach, and thank you very much for watching this video.